Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 17 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. As you can tell, we have changed things up a little bit. I am using a brand new team. A bunch of these Pokemon you're going to probably be a little bit familiar with. Of course, we had Garchomp, Arcanine, and Koko featured before, and Gyarados in the very beginning, but they're all very different sets from what I've been using. Garchomp is Choice Scarf, Arcanine is the Z move with Fire MZ, and Koko is Choice Specs, and then the two things I really wanted to try out were the Nihilego and the Snorlax, and I have a Dragon Dance Gyarados with the Z move as well to close things out. So this is kind of a more hyper-offensive team, kind of akin to the San Jose team, but the two things I really wanted to build around when I was considering a new team and kind of thinking of a new team was definitely Snorlax and Nihilego. Nihilego because we see a lot of Tapu Finis around, running around these days, as well as Tapu Koko, or Tapu Lele. I mean, Tapu Koko is common as well, but it's a little bit harder to play against. But yeah, with Nihilego, you can outspeed and just one-shot Tapu Fini and Tapu Lele, so that's kind of why I wanted to try it out. And Snorlax is a Pokemon that I thought was super underrated. I'm glad someone finally used it to super good success. Marcus Statter, of course, won one of the Germany regional championships last weekend with it, so I'm trying out basically his set. It's a Pokemon I've been meaning to use for a while, and after seeing Marcus win, decided finally might as well try it out. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this team. I'll be posting a team breakdown of the previous team pretty soon, so keep your eyes open for that. And as always, if you guys enjoy Road to Rank, please share your support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it. Our first opponent of the day is actually running a very similar team to our last one with 5 of the 6 same Pokemon with Muk, Garchomp, Arcanine, Ninetales, Porygon, and Gyarados. So the only thing really missing is Tapu Fini. But this is a team comp that I think I actually don't mind too much, especially because Snorlax is kind of designed to kind of come in and get curses off if Trick Room does go up. So figuring out the lead matchup always kind of the most important thing, but I think I'm actually definitely going to go with Koko here. Koko kind of applies immense pressure against anything my opponent can really lead with. And partner next to it, I actually kind of want to go with Garchomp because I think we might see a Ninetales as a lead. So if we do see Ninetales, actually I suppose Arcanine could also do the job. But then if I do bring Arcanine, he brings Garchomp. That could be concerning. So I'll bring Garchomp still. Okay, yeah. In the back, I'm going to go Snorlax for sure. And for the last one, I think Gyarados is super solid here. So I'm unfortunately not going to bring Nihilego, but Snorlax I think will actually be a pretty huge Pokemon in this game. So going to get into this one. Yeah, no Tapu Fini in my opponent's team, which is actually kind of a bummer. Like, if it was the same 6 as my previous team, this team is kind of designed to have multiple answers against Tapu Fini. So, yeah, with Garchomp, Garchomp's kind of, it's more best of 1 than best of 3, but it definitely catches opponents off guard. We see Gyarados Arcanine here, which is, I would say pretty solid for me because I pressure would discharge immediately with Koko. So, I'm really, I would say, pretty content about this. The only frustrating thing is without a Z move, like I can't just Z move into Arcanine. Otherwise, like Z move would be super solid here. He might be afraid though and switch out. But I'm definitely discharging here. Let's just see what's potentially in the back. Nothing like other than Garchomp. Yeah, because there's nothing that can really take a discharge, I'm just gonna Dragon Claw the Arcanine slot. Gyarados could also switch out here into Garchomp. So I'm not sure who's switching out here, but I know, like, if Gyarados stays in, he just gets knocked out, and Arcanine will take a ton of damage, and I'll be... Okay, Gyarados protects, that's fine. I guess the one scary thing is if this is offensive Arcanine. Yeah, it is a little bit frustrating, because if I had the Z move, I just would have discharged and Z move there. I don't think Dragon Claw plus Discharge will knock out the Arcanine here, especially with the double Intimidate, and I fear that this is going to be an offensive Arcanine, which it very well could be. But nope, it does reveal that it's got a Healing Berry. And it's the Citrus. So that's pretty good. He's just going to Will-O-Wisp. And Garchomp avoids it. That's really unfortunate for me. I'm fine with it getting burned, though, because Koko really runs through my opponent's entire team right now. So I'm just going to discharge again. And I'm going to Dragon Claw the Gyarados slot as opposed to the Arcanine slot. Because I think Gyarados might want to switch out here. If it doesn't switch out, then Discharge will pick up a knockout onto it anyway. And sure, I waste Dragon Claw damage, but that damage isn't that great right now. And my opponent saw the Dragon Claw go into Arcanine last turn, so it could be afraid of me going for it there. But that's a perfect turn 1 for me, and this Koko plus this Garchomp is applying so much pressure right now. Tapu Koko is one of those Pokemon where there are a lot of items that are viable in this format. We've seen, obviously I was using Life Orb, and that's kind of one of the more common ones. We see Focus Sash. Sekium, of course, won the European Championship with that. Gyarados does swap out here, so if Garchomp's coming in, I'd be pretty content. It is Garchomp, so that's why I locked myself into Dragon Claw. Even better for me. Especially with Garchomp, because even through the... I am at -2, actually, so this probably only does around 45. Yeah. Could be a roll, which is a little bit frustrating. I might want to switch out next turn. But I do have the switch in into Gyarados, which is nice. My own Gyarados, of course. So this discharge here should just knock out Arcanine, as it does. So first 2 turns, my opponent hasn't gotten any damage off, really, other than the Rough Skin. And, yeah, definitely a little bit unfortunate with the Will-O-Wisp. Like, been there, done that. But, yeah, don't think it's something that's too huge, at least, right now. So Muk comes in. I'm also really happy to see that. I might pull a double switch here, actually. Do I want a double switch? I might just single switch, actually. I'm just going to switch into Gyarados here and go for a Dragon Claw again. Because Koko outspeeds anyway, and I've got the Z move, which I can just Z move into Muk for. So, I brought Snorlax assuming we would see a Porygon 2 potential Trick Room setup, and my opponent probably saw the Trick Room coming, or saw the Snorlax coming as a result, didn't bring it. But the thing about Snorlax is it's still just a beast against really everything my opponent has. And I'm actually running Facade on this Snorlax. I believe Marcus had that on his Snorlax as well. And Facade's cool because if they burn you or they poison you, and you know, both of those are kind of common in the format right now, Will-O-Wisp obviously, and then Poison Jab, and you actually do more damage. And because you have Recycle and Curse, you just heal back and, you know, set up really in front of them. So I'm going to bring in Gyarados now. I'm going to get an Intimidate off, and Intimidate's always a big deal against these physical type attackers. And I'll just Dragon Claw. Don't have to worry about missing or anything. This could just knock it out outright. I think it's going to be a roll, though, and yeah, Garchomp's going to hang on with a sliver of HP there. Garchomp's natural bulk is pretty good. He actually goes for the Z move, so if he Z moved into the Koko slot, then it's going to be absolutely wasted. You presume it's going to be into Garchomp, but this might not even knock me out after the Intimidate. So here's the Tectonic Rage coming out. Not too much of a surprise here. And it is going to target my Garchomp. Fine by me. I'd actually prefer Garchomp to faint here, so I get a free switch in. Let's see if this knocks me out, though. I think it might actually hang on. Yeah, I do hang on with 20 HP. If he's going to Poison Jab me, perfectly fine. Does do a decent amount there. Doesn't poison, though, which is great. So with that, I'm just going to Dragon Dance here. Yeah. Or maybe I should just Water Z move. What would be better? The only concern, obviously, there's a... What's in the back again? A Gyarados. Yeah, let's Dragon Dance. I'm going to Dragon Dance and... No. Let's just get damage off onto Muk. So gonna Z move, gonna Hydro Vortex into Muk, and he's probably gonna Protect Chomp or switch out, but I don't really care about that. I kind of want, if he's smart actually, he'll target around the Garchomp. He stays in though, okay. So Dragon Claw just knocks out the Chomp, and Z move probably knocks out the Muk as well. So yeah, my Garchomp's gonna faint from Rough Skin. That actually gives me a free switch into Koko though, which is perfect. Quick interruption there, sorry about that. It's always tough recording in dorms when people are just trying to get, you know... The Hydro Vortex. Sorry, I just totally lost my train of thought. I was gonna say, yeah, it's always tough to record when you live next to your friends and everyone's trying to do stuff. Hydro Vortex there doesn't knock out the Muk, but now I can just discharge to win the game. Muk's gonna knock off. That doesn't even do that much damage, of course. It does more than I actually thought it would. Wow, it's an offensive Muk. Then I can just bring in Koko. Although there's one thing I didn't consider. Electric Terrain, I believe, runs out after this turn. Yeah. So he's going to get an Intimidate off. That doesn't do too much. I'm really surprised about last turn. That he didn't Protect or Switch out. And he just let me get the Water Z move off. But obviously, I'll take that. I'm actually scared of Gyarados having Dragon Dance right now. So I could discharge. So if I Thunderbolt into Muk and he Dragon Dances... Oh, never mind. If I bring in... Oh, but he could have the Z move. But I'm going to swap Gyarados out here. Yeah. I really want to discharge here. I'm going to discharge. Oh, I ran out of time. Thunderbolt was the safer play, because I'm going to do a lot of damage to my Snorlax, actually. I think his Gyarados is going to try to Dragon Dance here. It just protects. That's fine. Does Muk protect as well? Nope. So, yeah, obviously Thunderbolting to Muk was the correct play. But I think, yeah, here... See, I don't knock him out. He's going to jab me. But that's all fine because now I get a free switch into Gyarados. This might not even knock me out. Yeah. So, okay, we're good. Yeah, so the reasoning there is, okay, the way I see my opponent winning is if this is Dragon Dance Gyarados, because that's actually a really big problem. And if I Thunderbolt into Muk, which protects and Gyarados Dragon Dances and it has the Z move, then I actually pretty much just lose the game. Whereas Gyarados is forced to protect, and by discharging, I cover the protect option. And as you saw, Poison Jab actually didn't even knock me out, so now I can just safely discharge again. And to cover, he could Shadow Sneak me still. But that's fine. Yeah, I'll just switch him for the Intimidate here and Discharge. I guess it still comes down to whether he crits or not. I don't even know if he has Shadow Sneak. But let's say he crits me. I think Snorlax could actually just win the game anyway. Which is why Snorlax is actually a super solid Pokemon. Yeah, I was kind of flustered there. Didn't really fully think things through. I don't mind the Discharge play there. I mean, I wanted a Thunderbolt. Like, the Protect was so obvious. He's actually going to go for the double. He's not going to get it. He does have Shadow Sneak as well. I think if you're your opponent, my opponent, you shouldn't go for that Protector with Gyarados. And, yeah, I'm just going to Discharge here. That was potentially unsafe, though, because he could have crit me with Shadow Sneak. And that crits that actually knocks me out, which is why I think Gyarados should have gone for a Dragon Dance. Or an attack in general, because... like, even if he had crit me there, then I have Gyarados in, and I bring in my Snorlax back in safely, and I kind of just knock out the Muk with Waterfall, and Snorlax wins the 1v1 against Gyarados. So, we end up picking a win there. I mean, this game was, it was a super good lead matchup right from the start, so I didn't really need to make any, intense predictions. I got the Garchomp on the switch in, got a bit lucky with the Will-O-Wisp miss there in the beginning of the game, but I think I could have definitely played around that anyway, since his team is kind of Snorlax weak. So we do pick up a win there, which is cool. But yeah, we're just going to look for the next game today. Definitely happy about how that one played out. I mean, the late game, I never like locking myself in a discharge, but I figured, like, if you're not, like, max attack Muk, then Poison Jab, Kocos can have a chance of surviving that, and that Muk looked super defensive, because it took that Water Z move with, like, 10% and was able to heal back a considerable amount, so, yeah, didn't get to bring out the Nihilego there, but we brought out the Snorlax, so we're going to find our second opponent of the day with a team of Tapu Fini, Garchomp, a Snorlax as well, an Arcanine, a Pheromosa, and I don't even know what the name of that Pokemon is. Comfy, I think it is? Grass Fairy, something like that I want to say. Not something I definitely expected to see, but okay. So, this is interesting. I think I still want to lead Coco here. Pheromosa is really what I'm fearing, though. Because of Pheromosa, I kind of want to lead Arcanine Garchomp to catch my opponent off guard. Because what that lead allows me to do is just double up into that slot. I like that. Okay. I don't really have a great answer against opposing Snorlaxes, which is kind of funny. Who do I want in the back? Nihilego's not bad here. It really isn't if I can eliminate Pheromosa. So I might actually bring that here. And for the last one, part of me wants my own Snorlax. Part of me wants Tapu Koko. Gyarados is also worth considering here. I kind of want Gyarados just because it allows me to switch into Earthquake from my opponent's Garchomp. So, yeah, let's go with Gyarados. This is going to be tricky, especially if my opponent does bring the Snorlax, which he probably should. I really hate going up against Pheromosas, because Pheromosa just, like, you never know what item it is. Like, it could even be Choice Scarf. Like, I've run into that before. Z Move and Sash are kind of the most common ones. I mean, Life Orb as well. But those are all Pokemon that, give me some trouble. Or those are all sets that can give me some trouble. And in Best of 1, it's super scary. But I've got some Best of 1 kind of gimmicks on my side as well. So we're going to see Arcanine and Pheromosa. Okay. I guess this is kind of what I wanted to see. Because I've got the Scarf Chomp gimmick. And Pheromosa is super frail, so I can kind of just double up into it immediately. So my Arcanine's faster, at least I got the Intimidate off first, that's good. That's the other reason why I did want to bring my Gyarados for my opponent's Arcanine. So I think I'm going to try to catch my opponent off guard here. And yeah, Fire Fang does more with super effective. Double up on a Pheromosa here. Although I am intimidated, but Pheromosa is so frail defensively when I would think I could pick up this knockout. And if I eliminate Pheromosa, then it's just a big threat to my entire team. Arcanine switches out, so if Pheromosa stays in and attacks, this could be really good. Tapu Fini comes in as well. I'm fine with that. That's another reason not to go for Dragon Claw. So let's see if Pheromosa attacks. Okay, he stays in and attacks, so I get the extreme speed off. Don't miss Fire Fang. Nice. Hey, there we go. Scarf Chomp is, I don't know, I think it's gimmicky, but it's a Pokemon that still definitely works, because a lot of the times it gives you such a huge advantage in the first game you use it in. And it can just, yeah, it really can snowball sometimes. Of course, now I'm basically inclined to force the switch out, but that's fine. I picked up the knockout on what I needed. Garchomp coming in here, though, is definitely a little bit scary. Kind of wish I brought Snorlax now, actually. But I do have Nihilego, actually. That's a fantastic Pokemon to have in the back. So, what I'm going to do here is... Let's see. So I'm going to want to switch Chomp out here. He might Moonblast that slot, but that's fine. He might Z-move Arcanine. Also fine. Maybe I'll stay in with Chomp and sack it. Because Nihilego is really what I really, kind of what I want to get myself into right now. Okay, so I'm actually going to Wild Charge here. And I'll just switch out into Gyarados. So the idea here is I'm hoping my opponent knocks out Arcanine with a Z-move Earthquake. Tapu Fini could... Yeah, I guess if it Calm Minds, actually, that's kind of bad. Because then I can't Sludge Bomb it for a one-hit KO. So I should have thought about that. But Chomp can come back in and Poison Jab. And I can Dragon Dance with my Gyarados. He just Earthquakes himself. I should survive this then with the Intimidate. I hope I do. Nice. And he does around 25% to his own Fini, which is great too. So, fun thing, when I was building this team, I actually originally had Z-move Electric, like Electrium Z, instead of the Fireum Z, but I figured I had enough answers to Tapu Fini anyway. He's just gonna Muddy Water. That's perfect. So, that's a super good turn for me, because I get the Intimidate off, and Gyarados comes in for free, pretty much. Accuracy drop is not good, though. That's, like, the one bad thing, but hey, that's fine. And, yeah, it's gonna be Lefty's Fini. Okay, works for me. I think I just want to bring in Nihilego right now. Yeah. Probably protect Nihilego here and Dragon Dance with Gyarados. I like that play. Yeah, because Gyarados is sitting relatively safe right now, and I think my opponent might want to protect with either of the Pokemon. If I didn't have the accuracy drop on Gyarados, I'd feel really comfortable right now, but the fact I can still miss is a little bit unsettling, but it's fine. The first couple turns played out perfectly so far, pretty much. Other than, of course, the accuracy drop. But Garchomp not revealing its item yet could be Scarf Chomp for all I know, so that's another reason to go for the Dragon Dance, because then I can outspeed it. And once I get this Dragon Dance off, I can one-shot Garchomp or the Arcanine potentially in the back. So, bringing Gyarados ultimately I think was a good idea, specifically because my opponent has Garchomp, and Garchomp is a nuisance to deal with. So the thing is, Nihilego's special defense stat is actually pretty solid. Tapu Fini switches out here, okay. So this is pretty perfect, I think, because now what happens is I get the Dragon Dance off, and Arcanine doesn't threaten Nihilego, so I can just HP Ice into the Garchomp slot. Oh, he could Z-move me here, though, but that should have knocked me out. Nope, Garchomp protects. Okay, that's another reason why I protected, expecting maybe Garchomp to protect. But although the switch out is questionable, because, yeah, now I get this Dragon Dance off, and that's super good. Kind of just overwhelming my opponent with offense right now, because now I can just HP Ice into Garchomp and go for the Z-move. And I believe Z-move, I can't actually miss here, so despite the accuracy drop, that should just knock out Arcanine. So, I don't understand the switch in too much there, because my play is either to HP Ice Garchomp or to Sludge Bomb Tapu Fini. So I think if I'm my opponent, I would maybe protect Chomp trying to read the HP Ice and go for a Muddy Water, but Muddy Water wouldn't knock me out. Instead, I like the Protect Dragon Dance play there, because it's relatively safe. I mean, he could have Rock Slided and like Moonblasted, but the chances of that are highly unlikely because you know that Nihilego is the biggest threat right now. So I'm really glad I brought Nihilego right now because it threatens Garchomp, Arcanine, and Feeny, like literally can one-shot all of them. So Garchomp does go for the safe switch out here, but that's fine because I can just Z-move and knock out the Arcanine. So yeah, here's the Water Z coming out. And that's why I love Dragon Dance. I think, like, most Pokemon that use Z-moves, for the most part, don't really use setup attacks. So we've actually seen Garchomp running Swords Dance a lot more frequently, though, which I actually think is a really solid move. On the previous team, you know, I didn't have Swords Dance, but I was considering it. If I could edit the team, I would maybe even use Swords Dance. So, you know, Dragon Dance is so good, though, because it gives you that speed increase as well. And yeah, Water Z just picks up that knockout onto Arcanine. Incredible, incredible power. Of course, I could have went for a Sludge Bomb predicting the Tapu Fini switch in, but there's no reason to play it risky at this point. I'm in a position where I can just make safe plays, and it would have been like, oh, I would have looked so cool if I just went for the Sludge Bomb there. But let's say Garchomp stays in, then he would get an Earthquake off, and that probably knocks out my Nihilego. Meanwhile, my Nihilego right now just threatens against everything. So Garchomp's going to come back in now, but that's fine. Who do I have in the back again? My own Chomp, which is also great. I think I'll just HP Ice Chomp here, and do I want HP Ice actually? If you protect DQs, then I win the game with Gyarados anyway. I could also just Sludge Bomb and Ice Fang. I don't know if Ice Fang knocks it out, it probably doesn't, but let's go for it. I'm faster with Gyarados and Chomp in the back anyway. And Chomp protects, perfect. So, Sludge Bomb will knock out Feeny. Feeny could protect here, but it chooses not to. My one fear was missing Ice Fang or getting flinched. Or actually, you can't flinch me because I'm faster anyway. So, Sludge Bomb's going to come out and knock out the Feeny, which is great. Gives me a Beast Boost, not that that matters too much, but, you know, I've got 3 Pokemon that outspeed and knock out the Chomp now. So, we're going to take some Life Orb. Mist disappears. Yeah. And that's pretty much all she wrote. Since now Ego's just naturally faster anyway, I can just HP Ice and Ice Fang. I do want to know the Ice Fang calc onto Garchomp. But yeah, this game was pretty much won off that first turn. My opponent not expecting Scarf Chomp and me eliminating. And I actually do miss the Ice Fang, but HP Ice from Nihilego should be able to pick up the knockout, especially with that Beast Boost. So I'm really happy. I brought Nihilego, and it actually put in a ton of work in this game. The last one, you know, Snorlax was really meant to do a little bit more, and the late game was a little bit dicey. I think like, if things gone wrong, Snorlax could have closed things out for me, which is why I basically had it on the team. So we do end up picking up 2 wins with our first games with this team, which is super nice. I actually played one before just to kind of try things out, and in that game I brought Snorlax, and originally I had Return on the Snorlax, but then I realized I didn't max happiness after I entered the game, so poor Snorlax was just sitting around and got like a curse boost off, and then it did absolutely no damage at all. So that was kind of lame, and I ended up losing from that, unfortunately. So yeah, but that's why I kind of also put on Facade, because I realized I didn't have max happiness, and I think Facade's actually maybe even better because, you know, there's a lot of Paralysis, Poison, and Burn running around at this point. And the other cool thing is, because I run Discharge, I could actually potentially try to discharge my own Snorlax. And, like, you know, normally you want to discharge with Garchomp next to you, but Discharge does, as we saw in the first game, around like 40% to Snorlax, which is perfectly fine when you have Recovery with Iapa Berry and with Recycle. And so that works out really nicely, especially if you paralyze yourself, because that actually sets your Facade up. So we haven't run into that yet, but maybe that will come up later on with our time with this team. But that's going to conclude it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with these games for sure, and I'm really excited to play with this team a little bit more. Of course, like I said, I'll be posting a team breakdown for the previous team pretty soon as well. So it's going to be it for this one, and please leave a like if you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, peace.